Welcome back to the show, Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. Arif, Halaby, Jeff Gerard, talking about liberty, financial equality. Listen, when I say equality, I'm not talking about racial equality. I'm not talking about sexism. That's not what we're going. We're talking about the financial side of things. And I think you need to go across the board, do an experiment. Go to the colleges, the universities, these liberal arts programs. They just had a study from Cornell University. 96% of the money donated by the staff and by the professors, 96 went to the Democrats or progressive causes. I'm okay with that. It's their money. But you can't tell me that there's diversity in a campus of ideas, right? If you're giving your money, personal money. I don't mean, you're in charge of somebody else. This is your money you've worked for and you've given it to one extreme side of the equation. Then wouldn't it make sense that that's not diverse in ideas? I don't know. So here's a concept I want you to follow for a minute. Liberty, equality, democracy. Do you realize if you don't have liberty, the democracy you get could end up with a Hitler, a Saddam Hussein? All of those people were elected. All those people, Hugo Chavez. So I bring that up because when people don't have freedom, but they do have democracy, the first choice means that dictator or that candidate can become a president or prime minister or whatever, and then become a dictator. And then the financial ideas are one person's ideas. Instead of the market pushing and pulling and deciding, I've come out with the new this, right? When they came out with the new Coke, you remember that, 20 years ago, the new Coke flavor. And everybody went up in arms and Coke brought back the old Coke, and now it's called Classic Coke. Why is that important? Because Coke just said, we now have two products.
That's right.
You guys fought it. Some people said it was good. Some said it was bad. And people decided by buying or not buying. So, when capitalism runs amok, it's no different than anything running amok. When priests run amok, when 3-year-old preschool kids run amok that are innocent as a Tuesday afternoon. Anything that runs amok that is not checked could have financial problems. How do you create, if you will, the opportunity to be successful? I think number one, you go to colleges and you say, hey kids, back off just a minute. Listen, some of you that really studied hard, that got A's, we're going to take your A with this person over here who partied all weekend, who still comes in asleep and maybe even, stoned today, walks into class maybe 3 times out of 10, they have a fail. We're going to take your A and move it down to a C. We're going to take their fail and move it up to a C, so you're now equal. I think that's fair. I love that F word, fair.
Yeah, that'd go over like a lead balloon, that's for sure.
Oh, that's not what we mean, Professor Arif. What we mean is people can't make more money. We should get our college for free, and that's just not fair. Really? If your college was a job, where you got paid to show up, you got paid to work, you got paid to not be late or leave early, you got paid to study and pay attention, do you think you should still get the 40, 50, 60, 100,000 in student loan debt at the end? And then here's the catch-all, I love it. We're paying for an experience. For an experience. We want an experience the whole time. It's an experience. Look, I know how hard I work for my kids to go to college. I care about them coming out the back end with a degree. The experience is nice, but I didn't pay for you to spend 8 years in a place just to get experience, or 6 years because you're just trying. I want you in, get your degree, get out. You want to pay for it, you can do whatever you want. It's your life.
Yeah, it's not a 4 or 8 year vacation. This is a job. That's what you have to kind of remember. Is that you're there to get a piece of paper, a degree, and the experience will come, I think. I think that we're just really kind of backwards in our thinking anymore because we let it get that way. Don't you think? I mean, we don't have these staunch positions anymore. Everyone's just kind of like, oh, let's be fair and loosey-goosey, and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And so that will breed certainly a different type of culture, and it's kind of sad to see where that's going. I think we're forgetting the goal is to get in and get out, like you're saying, when it comes to college. Something else you brought up, you were talking about the position, someone that makes $15 an hour versus somebody that makes $500 an hour. When we get away from the person that actually fills that position, and we just talk about the value of that position. That was really powerful what you were talking about, because we get, again, the idea, the conversation gets convoluted because, oh, that person's so nice. They have a big family, they have a big house, so they have a lot of stuff to pay for. Their kids are in college. Oh, yeah, we should pay them more money. We should give that person a raise. And instead, we're giving a person a raise instead of the position becoming more valuable. Now, maybe that person took on 5 or 3 or 4 different responsibilities above and beyond what they were originally hired to do. Maybe that warrants a raise. But that position was created a certain way, it's worth a certain dollar amount, and has nothing to do with the person going in or their value to society.
Yeah, see, that's hard to believe, right? Because the job is what dictates the pay, not the person. If I had a job and it was worth $20 an hour, and my sister, one of my sisters that I love greatly, I love all 3 of them, and you pick one of them and they work there, doesn't mean it's now worth $30 an hour. Now, I can choose to gift them an extra $10 an hour because of my relationship with them, or if my mom works for me or my sister, but the job is still the job. Now, every year you should be getting better at your job, but part of that means, are you going to classes? Are you learning? Are you getting licensed or certified? Are you taking extra classes? What are you doing to get better? If you're the same as you were a year ago in the job, then the job you're not more efficient. Maybe you are, but just by being there, you're not more efficient. So I don't want you to get into this mindset that says, and I arrived, and here I am. So every year I'm going to get a 3% pay raise, and every year my life will go up in value. But you don't understand what it costs for preschool or for soccer practice or my daughters. I get it, but that's not the problem of the job. The job didn't create those extra dollars, did it? The dollars have to be created by your ability to produce more. Now, you can be mad that the boss makes 3 times what you make, or 6 or 10. Where's the line? And they'll say things like, oh, Arif, isn't it ridiculous when it's 1,000 times the CEO gets paid versus the lowest person? How many jobs does the lowest person create? I don't know. Probably none. How many jobs does the CEO create? 1,000, maybe 500, maybe 10,000. I want them to get paid. Go make more jobs. You're not a government agency where the jobs are going to be there whether that person is good, really good, or extremely great. Go create more. So be very careful when we are creating a value to something that is not coinciding with the productivity of the job. Right? All of us have arrived on a Monday morning, especially after a holiday, and we say, hey, how was your weekend? And we talk to our coworkers. How was everything? Good. Tell me about oh my gosh, my kids, my dad, and what do you do? Oh my gosh, really? And you spend 15 minutes, spend a half an hour talking about your vacation and all of that. Maybe you did that 3 times this week. That's an hour and a half. If you received your paycheck and it was an hour and a half less in pay, you would scream, it's not fair. Where's my money? I worked, I was here. No. Those are 2 different things. Because you're here, and the clock begins, and you run into the restroom, and you get ready, and you do your thing, and then you come back out, and 10 minutes have passed, and you talk about your weekend, and 20 minutes have passed. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be paid for those things. I'm saying you shouldn't expect to be paid for those things, because the job said the job. It didn't say, well, Arif, so then you're saying I should never be able to get up and walk out and go to the bathroom and just relax and socialize? I don't know. That's up to you and your conscience and your boss. I'm saying think for just a second. You want to be paid for every hour you're there, not every hour you produce. They don't make money for you just sitting in a chair. Your boss, unless you're the city or county or something, right? It's different. So there's not a product normally, or productivity.
And that's why you see a lot of people that are in sales, or their salary is commission driven. They're some of the hardest working people out there, because they know their time is now their money, and any time that they spend hanging out, talking, relaxing, there's no water cooler to hang out at when you're in sales, because every minute of the day is money to you, or it's a potential to go out and make an opportunity to make a sale where you earn your commission. And that is where, in my opinion, you'll find some of the, not necessarily all the time. There are certainly great people that work on a salary basis. They're not paid per piece that they produce, or whatever have you, but I'll tell you, some of the hardest working people, like I've said, are in sales, because they understand the value of time and then the opportunity that comes with that.
Yeah, I think you're right on, because part of what we do is we take a look and say, look, if I don't work, I don't get paid. And that is a very different than if I'm not there, I don't get paid. Right? That's different. If I'm not there, I don't get paid. Well, that's a different job than if somebody doesn't produce and they don't get paid.
Well, and fundamentally, there's always going to be that gap, in my opinion, unless we educate the people that are just coming into the business scenario. You'll always see the business owner pulling basically pulling the train, and then you'll have the person at the bottom that I don't mean at the bottom value-wise, but the person that just came into the organization saying, oh, well, I look at all these things I do and that person doesn't, kind of like what you touched on earlier. If you look at a construction crew, you'll see the general contractor kind of, bopping around and going to different jobs and making sure that everybody's doing okay. They don't sit there from start to finish with one thing because they just can't afford to do that. They have to manage multiple jobs if they have multiple job sites, for instance. But there will always be that push where, oh, hey, the boss is coming, and everybody look busy or do something. And because inevitably you're going to see that people don't understand that same sense of value because they're paid by the hour.
And look, so here's the contrary part of that. If you're out there and you're producing big money for the company, and when you started you were paid X, and it 3 times whatever the number, and now you're making more money for the company, you're more productive, you have a right, even though you may not be working 20-hour days, but you're productive in the 6 hours that you work, you should be paid more money than the person who hangs out for 8 and every once in a while milks it to a time and a half, 10-hour day. You should be paid more money because you're producing more. Now, I know that as a boss, I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay people more money if I don't have to. But if you're making me more money, if you're producing more money, I think you should just get a bonus. That's what we do. Our office is about bonuses. We hit particular levels. That means we all worked. If somebody isn't pulling their weight, we say, hey, listen, you got to pull your weight. And we have a conversation. All of us go through ups and downs. Everybody has a bad day or a week or a month. We all have issues, family stuff. It's life. But financial equality is extremely dangerous. You can go to arifhalaby.com. I have an article on financial freedom or financial equality. arifhalaby.com. That's very important you take a look at it, because I think it will give you an opportunity to see the nuts and bolts and the examples that we're laying out. The dangerousness that can take place when a society leaves the world of capitalism, leaves the world of a meritocracy, and instead we try to push everybody in college, and now what do you end up with? People who have degrees who have no idea why they even went. Some don't even remember going.
They remember the experience, right?
The experience. I want my kids to have the experience. I love that. I just smile. I don't mind the experience. The experience is great. But you better come out with a degree. You better be honorable, have integrity. You better maintain your character. You better come out the back end thinking somebody's not bad and good just because your professor said so. Today, you know what? A lot of professors aren't even going down the road of allowing you that freedom of expression. In fact, most people have to. This is what people are telling me in college. The kids, young people that are juniors and seniors even. I have to write my paper according to the views of my professor, or I get a bad grade. I have to write my analysis according to the leanings of my professor. And if over 85% of the faculty and staff of the public college is admitted left or progressive, Democrats, far left, shouldn't we have the thoughts and ideas? If I told you 85% were all Asian, all the professors are Asian, 85% are all from Lebanon, my dad's country, 85% of everybody, you would say that's way too much. We're diverse. We're California. We're Los Angeles. I think you want to sharpen your ideas. I was in, far left when I was in not far left, but I was left when I was in college. That was what I did. It's what you thought. You get out, you live a life, your views can change accordingly. All right, look, I want you to go to hometownstation.com. We come back after the break. We're going to get into things to know about money before you're 60, some things that are missing. If you make a few adjustments, did you know you could make a few adjustments? By the time you're 60 years old, retirement could actually be a lot closer than you think. I always tell people I need at least 10 years. Give me 10 years, I can really get close to making most of your dreams, of course, if you're not a little crazy, but most of your dreams come true. financially speaking. Come back after the break. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby. This is Jeff Gerard on AM 1220. This is KHTS.